This is so fun because, of course, Jack Rory is so popular for that deck. He's basically one of the grand masters with that strategy, and he probably will have to have a little smile on his face as soon as he realizes that he's now up against that deck. Oh, not yet though. That's one set, two set. Oh, Jack is thinking, what is going on here? 3 set cards. No Tearlaments cards whatsoever this far. But of course, there is plenty of trap cards in this deck. So as we said, it's a Paleozoic Tearlaments deck, and therefore setting cards certainly not the worst start for a deck.
He won the World Championship together with Josh, and he is well known for the Paleozoic strategy, so I think that Jack Rory will also know a thing or two about that. Normal summons Ice now, which is a phenomenal start for the Ryziel deck. The first Ryziel deck that I think we are seeing as a trio for this day.
There is now Hafnis on the sword though, not immediately doing it on the Ice Ryziel, ashing the Hafnis, and now Jack Rory, he didn't even blink when he saw that Tearlaments Hafnis. How could he be so unshocked about seeing Tearlaments Hafnis?
He's locked in.
That's so funny.
Jack Rory is just absolutely locked in at this point. He also has...
but now he cannot use Ash Blossom Joy Spring on the Needleback Nest anymore. Top 5 cards from the deck to the graveyard. There is a Rhino Heart. What else do we get? Oh, Rhino Heart. They're all mixed up.
Rhino Heart wouldn't have been as good at all with the Hafnis on the field, by the way, because now you have a great discard for the Rhino
and
Heart.
There is also the Tearlaments Kashtira. Oliver is definitely hitting some cards here. What is that going to lead to? And that's honestly, Tearlaments was always known to be a big combo deck that can set up good fields, but the Paleo variant of it is way more interactive because you use your trap cards to then play on your opponent's turn, and therefore it's not uncommon to see the deck having a really slow start and only setting 3 cards and passing it over. And as we can see, this one trap card now may be enabling so many things at once.
And it's very relevant that Meta Noise was sent to the Graven with Tearlaments Kashtira because it can recycle and take it back to the hand.
That's honestly the best card to hit with it. Now we are going to summon out the Rhino Heart, discard Hafnis.
Wow,
of course, for
so
that.
good.
We're going to
milk.
Oh no,
Backjack and Shire!
What
The
is happening?
Tearlaments have never been gone! We are going strong here. Those 2 hits were amazing.
He is back! Jack can't believe it.
Yeah, but he is flabbergasted by that, and Oliver is living the life right now. And he's so happy that Jack decided to use Ash Blossom Joy Spring on the Hafnis there. Which honestly is kind of an interesting decision anyways, right? When you see 3 set cards and your opponent is activating a Hafnis into you, I feel like there's plenty of cards that they could have set which would also be a valid target for the Ash Blossom Joy Spring.
He plays also around Salik, which is very
That's a good point. I agree, yeah. That's actually a valid point.
Or Torrential Tribute.
Or Torrential Tribute,
indeed. Just saying.
Alright, so what are we getting here? That must be the effect of Rhino Heart resolving now.
Oliver has shuffled a little too well, I suppose.
Yeah, it's all upside down in there. But what are we going to send? Okay, so now the Rhino Heart, fair enough. And that is going to bring another copy of Tearlaments Kashtira into the graveyard. And now Jack Rory starts to get a little skeptical. He's like, oh no, I did not expect that. What have I signed up for here?
This might be Tearlaments.
This might indeed be Tearlaments.
This might be my signature deck. Is this the moment where I lose to my most beloved cards?
Oh, and there is Kaleido Heart.
Kaleido Heart is not a card that can necessarily stop a lot of Ryziel shenanigans.
And look at that,
right?
Backjack has revealed 3 trap cards. Sometimes you miss with the Backjack. Sometimes you actually hit Tearlaments cards, which you can just send to the graveyard, which then trigger. But sometimes you just get some very powerful trap cards, which I think now is the case.
And now he sent the Tearlaments Kashtira, and now he pointed to it again as if he wanted to activate it again, but you have already milled the Backjack. Is that not enough for 1 Tearlaments Kashtira in this situation?
Okay.
Of course, you can't activate it twice, but there are still talents in hand for Jack Rory as well, so there is... I would never ever count him out of this one.
Okay, so the thing though is, Jack Rory is bringing the pure Ryziel strategy, and I think that one is a lot more like clear in its game plan. It's like it doesn't have many different routes to go for because we're just clearly locking ourselves very early on into the rank 4s, and therefore we don't have like a backup route to go into. It's very good because it's kind of ignoring Bystials and it's like playing around certain things in the meta game. It does struggle in terms of ceiling though. Like you do only get to a certain point, and past that there is nothing you can go after. So I'm wondering, with those interactions that Oliver is already putting up, how far Jack Rory could even go here. Okay, up, that's X'd. All right, sending Eclipse Twins to the graveyard.
The thing is just the ceiling of the Ryziel pure deck is sometimes just enough. Cross and Detonator is incredible with the recursion that you also have. Now adding Node to the hand, one of my favorite Ryziel cards.
It's a good meta call to play around Bestials that are very popular this weekend.
This is also why Tearlaments is a little bit surprising to me.
Yep, and also additionally to that, another card that's so popular is Abyss Dweller. We already have 2 level 4 monsters on the field, so Jack Rory now would just be completely open to go into that Abyss Dweller, and that card alone would be so scary because it's a quick effect, so it can respond to opponents' cards. So just establishing an Abyss Dweller here would be a nightmare for Oliver because he would have to chain the backcheck and everything, but we do go for Druid Drive.
If you go for the Dweller now, you basically have no
Salik?
play.
Yes, it is
Salik is
but
big.
Book of Eclipse!
Wait, he just did it on the activation on the activation because on summon this would have been Dynamiscus is going to be chained
Dynamiscus
as well.
too though. Oliver has all the answers. Last set card revealed. And Jack Rory allows it.
What a dream hand.
And he's sending transaction rollback! This is not real! Oliver's having all the answers.
This is the hand.
Indeed it is. Okay, so now the Book of Eclipse resolved, and the Salik does not have to send anything to the graveyard anymore afterwards. Yep. Fair enough.
Dynamiscus also just took away the targets.
And also we should note the synergy between Palo and Tier, that the Palo traps Dynamiscus sends as an effect, not as a cost. So it triggers the Tiers.
And
That's
they're
very
Aqua.
true.
But now, I think that Jack Rory... Wait, does he actually have a Ryziel still in graveyard? Can he just summon out, or does he need an Exceeds monster for Node? Wait.
Node is very specific in what it needs, you're right, but I think he does need an Exceed monster actually, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
And he does have Eclipse Twins in the graveyard, therefore he should be good to go as long as we remember Node Ryzi correctly.
Wait, he
and
has
yes.
an Exceeds monster in the graveyard, of
Yeah,
course.
he does
the
have Eclipse Twins, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So I think that he might just be good to go here.
We have to see. Let's not forget, there's still backcheck, there's still transaction rollback, so Oliver still is very well equipped here as well. So
very good point, yeah.
I don't necessarily know whether this is over from Oliver's side yet, but Jack Rory, what's next here? We could possibly just use the talents now to look into the hand. Maybe even take over a monster, but no, we do just go for Node Ryziel.
The problem with pure Ryziel and talents is that taking monsters is, except for in the mirror match, not good.
I mean, you can send it off of Node Ryziel, which is okay.
Yep.
But I guess we're getting past that point now soon.
But I mean, there's also nothing to send with so far, so not really the most ideal scenario. Now Node is going to activate here. I think you wanted to send Metaltronus from hand. If you activate it, but first
we're
talents.
activating the talents first, of course. The Node is not an on-summon, and we're just drawing cards. Looking into a hand of a Paleo deck doesn't seem necessarily exciting, so just getting more and more cards, I can get behind that logic, honestly.
Jack is playing a deck that I really like for this event, which is a deck heavily board breaking. Node activated, discarding Metaltronus. That card does nothing for us. And Oliver is already grabbing the graveyard. It's like, oh, you want to summon something? I have something. Let me tell you something. I have something.
A lot of somethings there.
Yes, something is going to happen. I can tell you that.
I am agreeing, but yeah, we see that not for the first time. I think we all agreed on Metaltronus being a super good meta tech card right now that a lot of people are relying on. But it's not the first time we're seeing it in this weekend and today.
Wow!
Daruma Karma Cannon is the top card! Alright, that's a card worth getting there.
Yep.
Setting those two Ryziel monsters face down and chaining a Paleo even. He's like, not so quick, I want another monster to the field.
Jack Rory, if you turn your back to Tearlaments, Karma is gonna get you.
Oh yeah, it does indeed. I still remember, I think we featured him at YCS Utrecht at some point, round 1, where he was playing Tearlaments, but now he has betrayed his love. He has betrayed the Tearlaments deck, and he's with the Ryziels, treating them well so far with the 5-0 record, but here, against the Tearlaments deck, it is looking rough, and that looked like a pass to me, possibly.
And to be honest, Salik, with the fusion of Tier, it's very strong with Kaleido Heart.
Yeah, for sure.
And
that's
of course,
draws.
he's going to draw
two draws with the Book of Eclipse now. And when you're giving a trap card draws, that's never a good idea. Drawing to 4 cards in hand now for Oliver. What a life.
Oh no, he even picked up Pearl
Oh my, the
Oliver.
prime evil Pearl Rhino. And Jack Rory.
Stop it. Jack is already on the floor.
Jack cannot like how this one is developing. The one-off Primeval Planet Pearl Rhino is resolving by the looks of it.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Also, I love how Oliver, I think Popular was a variant of the Tearlaments deck with the Fiendsmith cards, but Oliver just said, no, I don't need that. I will just go away more minimalistic, trap-orientated approach with the Paleo monsters, and now normal summon ultimate rare Kaleido Heart. Oh no, Rhino Heart, of course. And yeah, we all remember that moment. Jack Rory Steenkammer at the World Championship, right-clicking on Rhino Heart, basically just passing without an effect. But here, he sees his opponent doing it better, announcing the effect of Rhino Heart and resolving its effect to send Shivan to the graveyard.
Yep. Can't right-click.
Yeah, tough one to do, tough
cards.
one to do indeed. I mean, you could still like say, hey, I don't want to use the effect. That's a lot tougher to do though, I would say.
It's a lot tougher to do on accident, yeah.
Okay, and now we can even use the second effect of Pearl Rhino, destroying one of the set Ryziel monsters that Jack Rory
Could
has.
have also used Kaleido Heart earlier
That's true.
to send something. Missed out on that one, but at this point, I think that Oliver is going to need to do a lot to not win this game. And there's this thing, I like half of the approach that Oliver is taking with the deck as a meta call, saying trap-heavy decks are probably the way to go if everyone is playing Slayer, Metal Tronus, and stuff like that, heavy interruption, effect veiler, etc. But I mean, there's also a lot of bestials around, and playing Tearlaments into those is not... Oh, especially if you're just backing this up with trap cards. If you're starting your turn with a Rhino Heart and you get bestial, there's
You
probably
cannot
nothing
bestial,
better
though,
to do.
totally awesome.
That is
Very true.
That is true.
Very true.
Just the water monsters again.
I mean, we all thought it's the weekend of rank 4s, but I saw that we have a bunch of mermaids doing well, and
I mean,
now
Bahamut
also
Shark is
this.
also a rank 4.
It is a rank 4 to be fair, but the more important card is definitely the rank 2 here in that case, being the Totally Awesome. That card has won YCSs before, so maybe it's
Debatable.
time for the Totally Awesome again.
Debatable, Basti.
I don't know about that. Okay, so we do link
I
off.
thought you were a shark guy.
I am, but
Oh,
I'm summoning Totally Awesome with that.
Sprite Sprint. Now Samir Bashar is listening up as well.
And
The sprites are back.
Deinomiscus doesn't get banished because it was set and then flip face up again.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's true. Sending Merly to the
Merly.
graveyard. What have we even fusions? That's
Dragostapelia?
Dragostapelia, yeah.
Dragostapelia, yeah.
Because there is
Oh,
no
yeah,
more
you
Crit Colors we could use.
You have space in the extra deck, right?
Yeah.
At this point.
A very interesting and cool thing about this, I mean, it's not that interesting. In the beginning, when Kid Colors was forbidden, people were trying to use King of the Swamp to still go into the Rokalos.
Yeah.
But nowadays, for example, here Oliver is showing us you don't need that anymore. You just cut the Rokalos entirely, cut the King of the Swamp because it's not a great card to draw, and just do a whole lot of things, but a whole lot of things means game number 1 going to Oliver. Tearlaments Paleo is still very much a deck here in 2025, taking game number 1 against Jack Rory Steenkammer.
I mean, you're saying it's still a deck, but was it ever a really strong meta contender, the Tearlament plus Paleo? And also, what was that needlebugness?
Oh, it went off, yeah.
This is every tier player in 2023 who activated Kelbeck would have gone, yes, this is it. This is the mill. Wow.
Yep.
Especially Ash Blossom on the Havness, very reasonable play. Keeps
sure.
the Havness in hand, makes the Tearlaments Rhino Heart completely insane.
Yes, that was actually a very unfortunate turn of events for Jack Rory in that specific case. But you know, like one person that you could imagine that has dabbled a little bit with Tearlaments Paleo, do you have a name for me? Because I have a very clear one in mind that has tried out that deck a lot. Who could fit that kind of a deck?
Josh?
Dinkabui. he played that, of course, and now we see, of course, we had him on feature earlier, but now Oliver Gibbs is the man of the hour, rocking up with that Tearlaments Paleo deck, and I love all about it.
Yeah, but I mean now that Jack will go first, he's going probably to make a Dweller, and
Yeah.
I want to see how Oliver is prepared for that.
The thing though is,
Set
you can
some
still
cards,
set,
no?
yeah, you can still set 5, just
5.
use Daruma Karma Cannon, and then you should still be okay, honestly. You can outlast the Dweller, like it's only going to be there for 2 turns, and then I could see it.
I also want to say that not only Dweller, I think if you're playing a backrow deck, Detonator is really hard to deal with.
That's true, that's very true.
But maybe he has some side deck solutions. When was the last time we saw a good old Kaiju?
Has been a while.
Yeah, well, why not just Kaiju? Well, if it has Eclipse Twins, maybe Kaiju.
There you go.
maybe that's not the perfect choice here, yeah.
Maybe not entirely perfect, but yeah, Jack Rory, if he would have just won that die roll, it would have been a lot better for him.
just
but
win.
there,
Just
it can be so easy, but it was very hard in that case. Not very hard is going to be our route into game number 2 as the players are already ready. I hope everyone at home is as well. Another game of Tearlaments Paleo and the previous world champion of the game of Master Duel. So let's go into the action again. Game 2 starting now.
I think it's that Jack Rory is still waiting on a big success in the TCG, right?
He does, I think, have one YCS top so far over in Canada, actually. But here in Europe, I cannot recall him actually getting that success yet. So he's really probably happy about this 5-0 start so far, but he has to now follow it up. And right now, it's not looking great for him.
I mean, he's more of a Worlds guy, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
just stepping up when you need to.
Ext, by the way, is the best opener in the pure build of Raziel.
Why is that?
Because Ice doesn't get you with a sword where Ext alone can get you, and you can play very well under hand wraps since you don't use your normal summon yet.
Okay, that's fair. That's reasonable. We go into duo drive early on, and we do have the chance to resolve this. To be fair,
it's a trap deck.
Yeah, you're not expecting very many interruptions here from Oliver's side. I think that's pretty legit.
He really didn't expect any. He was barely waiting at all. It's just like, maybe his opponent just told him, yeah, you go off.
You know what's a really interesting card that I'm kind of expecting maybe to come in from Oliver here in this game or the next game then? Do you remember Mischief of the Gnomes? That was a card you played against Sprite. And nowadays Sprite is essentially Raziel, and they always want to go for rank 4s, and that's the only thing they can do. Guess what? If you just adjust their levels, they don't really have a good time at all anymore, to be honest.
I mean, but it's just like the ones currently on the field, right? When with Mischief of the Gnomes is activated. I think this is why many players dropped the card back then as well, because if your opponent just does link plays, and you...
it's actually the ones in the hand, which is, I think, way more fitting, way better, even if they get summoned afterwards.
Yeah, people have dropped it because Fitsman Raziel is very popular right now, but against the pure build, it can make a lot of damage.
I think so too. I think that could definitely be a card we may see here. We see the detonator here early on for Jack Rory, and there's gotta be an Abyss Dweller, and it is an Abyss Dweller in fact. And so I think Jack Rory is feeling pretty alright with that opener here against Oliver. Both cards having very reasonable usage against the Paleo Tearlaments strategy, but that's all he needs, and he's going to pass it over to Oliver here in this case.
Oliver's asking if anything is going to happen before the main phase, and Jack Rory was like, yep, I have something for you, and that is Abyss Dweller, completely shutting down the Tearlaments strategy. He would know best. He has piloted this deck to a world champion title before.
Absolutely. So, Oliver, what you got here? Anything to answer about Abyss Dweller?
Got a Mudora, I think, which is not necessarily helping. Right?
We gotta see. I don't even know whether it's Mudora, to be honest.
Very sure.
Okay. And
oh, look at that, Mudora.
That is Mudora. Wow, you have...
Who could tell?
Eagle eyes. Beautiful eyes.
Eagle eyes. Oh,
and also pretty good work.
Thank you so much, darling.
Okay, that looks like a Typhon to me, but honestly, Typhon alone is taking care of the detonator here, if not for the Raziel Cross, of course, though.
Yeah, that card is causing some problems. You can run over the Abyss Dweller here.
That's pretty good, to be honest,
That's good, yeah.
It's a start, for sure.
Yeah, and the Abyss Dweller is gone, and I mean, to be fair, that's all that Oliver really needs, because in Game 1 we saw how this deck tries to play on the opponent's turn rather than on the own turn, and therefore he might just be completely fine with getting rid of the Dweller here.
Yeah, but now you have the Eclipse Twins summon back Dweller.
oh, yeah, I was joking, actually. Recycling the Dweller. There he is again, of course.
JK.
There he is. That cannot be great for Oliver. Honestly, at moments, you probably just don't activate the Typhon, right? What was the reason to activate Typhon there? You actually just gifted your opponent that Dweller by activating Typhon's effect there.
Very good point.
That was a little misstep there on Oliver's end. But I'm sure he can recover with those two set cards there.
So what else do we have here?
It's an Ultimate Slayer.
Yeah, this one is actually having some applications here. So what did we send to the graveyard? You have so much stuff.
Oh, that's a funny one.
At Ignister.
The Light Dragon. The Light Dragon at Ignister is a pretty funny one to use here. And I mean, if a card you control, a monster you control would be destroyed by card effect, you could detach materials from itself, but only when it is on the field.
Targeting Detonator.
Yeah. Oh. Ooh, Dynamiscus. Chains the Dweller to it.
As we said before, Dynamiscus sends the card as an effect to the graveyard, so if a Havnis or a Siren will send to the graveyard, it can trigger.
That's very true. Is there any possible... Actually, when did we... Oh no, the Mudora couldn't change anything about the Dweller coming back because the Dweller was already resolved, of course, that turn. Otherwise, it would have been good to interact with the good old Eclipse Twins. But now we're just going to get rid of 3 Raizia cards in the graveyard with the Mudora, probably trying to prevent the Raizia Cross from shuffling back more cards and giving Jack Rory more cards overall. What can we send here? We're sending Transactional, which would be so good, honestly. Yeah. But now with the Dweller resolving, that is not only shutting down monster effects, but card effects in general in there.
But I mean, now we have just banished the Raziel Detonator, and now we have 2 more cards in the graveyard as well. So Cross is live, Talents is going to be activated as well. Looking good for Jack Rory now. There is no... Oh, Tearlaments Kashtira is being chained to that, and this card would have to banish from hand.
Yeah, meaning there is nothing to be taken from Jack Rory's Staincomer anymore. There we go, getting rid of it. Bring out the Tearlaments Kashtira. And I mean, yeah, we can't trigger anything, but we may as well get some resources into the graveyard here. Maybe a couple of Paleos. Meta Noise, Merly. Oh, those mills would be so good if not for the Abyss Dweller, though.
Oliver is milling good today. That is insane. But, I mean, the thing is, Jack is super fine with that. There's nothing that has triggered now, and he's like, hey, I wanted to get rid of 1 card. I'm pretty sure it's not any hand interaction, but now I've basically gotten rid of 2 cards.
Yeah, to be honest, I think that he should let Jack to choose between Tear Castira or Reinhardt and keep the other as a resource.
Possibly, yeah. I think you guys are right. But Oliver just, of course, with that slow of a deck, this deck has to be called slow because it really is just not the fastest out there. You gotta make some quick decisions, I think, and Oliver just wanted to do that.
The disrespect and the excitement.
No, a slow deck is not necessarily a bad deck, as we can clearly see here.
But I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the disrespect that he sent the Excite on night against the Trap deck.
I see.
That's what I meant.
Fair enough.
Wow.
Something. Okay, now there's some more reasoning to it, right? Now you gotta understand why we brought that monster to the field. But
doesn't matter.
Jack Rory just keeps on summoning level 4 monsters, and Oliver will have to have an eye on the clock. We have more than 20 minutes still left. Honestly, that's super unusual for this deck, because when I've played against Tearlaments Paleo in the past, usually game 1s were likely to take on like 30, 40, sometimes even 45 minutes. I've played against this deck and we only got to finish a single game, essentially. But we already are on the edge of finishing the second one here.
It's looking good for Jack Rory.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest here with you guys. This is looking very, very solid here. He's probably playing multiple duo drives as well in this.
And with 2 carries, he can easily make game here.
Yep. Very good point. Just to get this detonator.
He's not playing multiple duo drives, but I don't think he needs another one here, to be honest.
You can always shuffle it back anyways.
Yeah, that's true. I think in this version of the deck, in the pure Raizia version, you want to make sure to include 2 Eclipse Wyverns, because you do actually summon this card from time to time. And what did I say?
Wyvern.
Eclipse Wyvern, also a cool card though, but Eclipse Twins, of course, is the one that I mean, yeah. And you can, I think you need 2 of them in the extra deck, yeah. And that is what Jack Rory has decided on.
That's also a bonfire. I'm not sure if it adds a lot to the situation right now, but Jack Rory and we're discussing a little bit. It's we can see maybe later on what happened, but now Bonfire is going to resolve. I think this is just follow-up. You haven't used the Ice Raziel effect to special summon it.
There is Ice Raziel
maybe that is going to be enough damage then with that. I think if you just summon Ice Raziel out now and send the set card.
Looks like a lot to me. Sending Called by the Grave. That's a lot of attack points. And that is the game. 1-1 scores even. Jack Rory Staincomer takes down game number 2, and therefore we are heading into a third and deciding game number 3. And now, what are we going to see in game 3? Just Paleo doing Paleo things again, or what's the way to stop it?
First of all, I would like to be in Jack's head and think, what did you say? You are going for things to deal with spell traps, or you are going to deal with a tier?
Oh no, I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. This card is not as popular anymore, to be honest, but sure, tell them.
It should be the Cosmic Cyclone that you
cited. It should be, but I'm telling you, it's not there. It's not there. But a card that is pretty interesting, that got some popularity again by Steven Santoli, who was first out to Swiss at YCS Orlando, was actually running in his side deck. Gravekeeper's Inscription. That is a card that was super popular back in the day against the Tearlaments deck. I still remember YCS Lyon, for example, where this card was heavily played in Kashtira builds, for example. And Jack Rory Staincomer brought it back here this weekend, preparing for the Tearlaments deck, of course, once again. But yeah, I think that one is really, really good. And additionally to that, he came prepared for back row decks, to be honest. I see Feather Duster, I see Lightning
wow.
Storms, I see
That's
a
a lot.
lot of things here, honestly. And even World Charming Meowth is a card that does really well against those decks. All the Paleos, you get a draw for every
Yeah, but,
Paleo.
I mean, if the Paleos are activated, then you probably have something on your field, right?
You're right, yeah, that's fair.
It's gonna be. I mean, you can use it at the start of your turn, but then, like
I
summoning
mean,
up the
he's
vanillas.
not going
is
probably to summon
Yeah.
Nepalo.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, maybe not the Meowths, but the other cards I think were pretty satisfying,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. So this is if he draws a combination of the side deck cards, I don't think there is a lot that can stop him, except for maybe something like a Solemn Judgment. But if it's just like Paleo traps and Tearlaments traps, and you start Inscription, followed up by Lightning Storm, I don't see a way to beat that actually.
And to be honest, I want to see the Ash Blossom, how it's going to be used. I think this is the
Yeah.
trick on this matchup, because of course you need to stop at Tears, but also there are a lot of good traps like Nilbug and Nest that
Yeah.
should be stopped also.
Or the Meta
Absolutely.
Noise is always
Or the
one of my favorite
Meta Noise,
targets.
yes.
But I think the duelists are ready, and let's go over to the table for the deciding Game 3.
As we can see, what a flags that is. The world champion sleeves up on the table there from Jack Rory Steinkammer, now picking up his starting hand. But it will be Oliver dictating the pace here, first of all, in this third game, as he's the one going first. And he does have Tearlaments Scream, which is a pretty good card. If you also have the Rhinoheart, and I think I see the Rhinoheart, that's going to be a rather quick start this time around. He started slow in game 1, and it was enough. And this time he starts quick instead. And he's going to use Chainlink one stream, Chainlink to Rhinoheart. Oh, look, we're sending a card to even send more cards to the graveyard. I love this. This is Tearlaments at its prime.
Yeah, we are used to on the opposite Chainlink.
Oh, and there it is! I already said it earlier. This card may come in, and it is Mischief of the Gnomes.
And it hits Marella. I mean, basically every card does something when you send it to the graveyard in this deck. And Rise
I mean, that's
to
the point.
full height. Yeah, very, very good one. So, Rhinoheart is just middle 5 now. It's the new kit colors, I suppose.
Yeah, and Rise to Full Height, when you are in game 3, and you're kind of also, of course, with this deck, always looking at the timer a little bit, is very good to protect yourself. But oh, Oliver just immediately goes in the draw phase for Mischief of the Gnomes and its graveyard effect. So Jack Rory Steinkammer all of a sudden is wishing he would be playing rank 3s in his extra deck, because he's not going to be able to summon any rank 4s anymore.
The thing is, if you start Ice, you special summon a level 4 from the deck, that adds you another level 4 that isn't affected by Mischief of the Gnomes anymore. So Bonfire is even better now, because now you get to add the Ice and it's going to be a level 4, right?
The thing though is, the way Mischief of the Gnomes is written, it says
Every card that comes from
reduce the
hand.
levels of all monsters in each player's hand by 1. I don't even, like, I think the ones in the hand, even if they are added after the resolve of Mischief of the Gnomes, may be adjusting their levels.
Then it would be forever.
For the rest of the turn, yeah.
In the graveyard? Does it set it for the rest of the turn?
It's an old card, but we will find out, I'm sure. We will find out. It's definitely already against cards that were in his hand already. Very, very impactful and powerful. So how can Jack Rory counter this turn? Honestly, I was a bit surprised that Oliver immediately went for it, because Jack Rory against that slower deck may have the advantage of time, just not playing too much this turn, but he does agree with you, immediately going for the Ice Ryzeal. And this monster that he's about to summon will definitely be a level 4.
Yep, Sword is coming in.
Okay, Oliver thinking about whether to interact with that.
And now we're also going to see how Mischief of the Gnomes work. We activate Scream, of course, first.
He kept screaming for the summon of
Oh,
Sword.
Meta Noise,
Backjack
Backjack,
and
and Lost Twin. This man does not miss. What are those cards? What are those cards that he gets consistently there off of the top of his deck?
They're trap cards.
Oh, thank you. I didn't even notice. But
Tears in
Backjack
the
was a
grave.
monster, but it's going to be a trap card eventually, of course.
And there are a lot of Chainlinks right now.
Oh, yeah. Searching for
Meta
extra
Noise hits
ideal.
the Tearlaments Kashtira as well. That has another target in the graveyard, which is yet another Tearlaments Kashtira. It's looking good, and there are none of these side deck cards for Jack Rory so far.
Indeed. I saw in his deck there was Lightning Storm, there was Feather Duster. Of course, you side those cards in against this deck, but he did not draw them.
He has card draw in hand. And now we have seen... Have we seen monster effects activated? I think Backcheck was activated, no?
Did he activate the Backjack? I didn't even see it.
I mean,
maybe
you don't
maybe
have
it's
to.
fine. Yeah, maybe it's fine to play around Talent Sphere, honestly, and just there's so many trap cards in your deck.
Exactly.
Just use it in the end phase and see what you get.
And you said
Can't
it
be too
earlier,
bad.
if it's not a trap card, you're going to fusion summon.
Probably, yeah. I agree. And I don't think he used the back check here.
And he has the info of talent from game 2, so it's probably the correct
Okay,
play.
look at that. We do bring out the extra eyes here, sending the Star Leech. I think it's Paladinamo, or how's it called?
No, Paladinamo was a.
Oh, that's the other one,
2000
right?
tech one. This is the Photon Dragon.
It's Photon Blast Dragon, of course. They look very similar, though. Don't blame me. I think Paladinamo is not even the rank 4, right?
It is. It is.
Oh, it is as well. Oh, there, he activated it, though.
All right.
Triple Tactic Talents can be activated.
I'm telling you, this is a draw. Or is he trying to take the Rhino Heart because it's a level 4?
That would be crazy. You're right. That has to be the case.
Hilarious.
Give me your level 4. I need it. I need it
I need to
desperately.
play Tearlaments.
Yes, then! He is taking the level 4! There we got it! 2 level 4s on the field now, finally, for Jack Rory and his rank 4 deck.
Quantalthink has a Rhino Heart on his field in 2025.
Finally, yeah. Oh, okay. Now on the resolve, though, we do go for the Tearlaments Kashtira, banishing Matter Noise. And what are we going to get here? He's a master of milling, and we do get some more good cards there. We go Scream, Shiren, and another Tearlaments Kashtira. This is massive, honestly.
I think at this point, Oliver gives the info that has Halik. That's why he probably summoned your Castira.
Probably, yeah. I mean, also, if you just hit a way to get into the Kaleido Heart, getting rid of one of those level, or like the only level 4 monster next to the Rhino Heart is pretty valuable too. So,
But see, how many cards does he have in his deck that can trigger upon being sent to the graveyard
All
or
of
do
them.
something?
all of them. I mean, you saw it clearly. You saw it clearly every single time. All of them.
The only miss is Needlebug Nest, right? And Daruma Karma Cannon.
Karma Cannon as well, but besides that, there's not that many. Pearl Rhino. There's dangers in his deck as well, which aren't particularly amazing either. I think besides that,
Dangers are fusion material.
yeah, I guess.
And I think it looks like he can't activate the Shiren. And we're going to go into
Duo Drive.
Duo Drive. And it looks like you can't use the X as a level 4. Your Lost Wind is being
okay.
activated. It's such a slow way of playing the game, and I love it so much.
Absolutely. This is really old school Yu-Gi-Oh! This is
So
super,
when
super
an extra
slow.
deck monster is summoned, Lost Wind can reset itself.
Yeah. But the next time it's being activated, it gets banished instead of going to the graveyard. And it's a card that negates something that it targets forever. When a special summoned monster activates the effect, you can negate it and half the attack.
That is true.
Or
so
you just target a special summoned monster and negate it. Doesn't have to activate.
we gotta agree, this Duo Drive is never resolving, right? Oh, Needlebug's Nest, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get ready for a number 5.
I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm
And
gonna
so
be
is
honest
Jack
with you.
Rory.
Yeah. Oh, and Marella is being chained here.
Oh my.
It's
One.
Transaction rollback is
rollback,
crazy, Sonic is
Sonic,
crazy.
Morella, Rhino
boy.
Heart, and another one of them.
Do we have another Tearlament card in hand so we can activate the Tearlament's Rhino Heart? Because then this is a party.
He added Salik before.
Yeah,
with
it's
Scream.
Salik before.
True. And then it's just Kaleido Heart, right? And Kaleido Heart just takes care of the Duo Drive. This is looking amazing for Oliver right now.
How fun is that tag?
Endless fun all
Endless
day.
fun, yeah.
I mean, look at Oliver. He's living the life. He's sitting in the feature match area, 5-0 here at YCS Birmingham. Couldn't be any better, right? So we are going to... Okay, we added back Shiren, I believe. Which is even better because we can now... Oh, wait, Halfness. Yeah, we can discard the Halfness now, which is nice because it immediately gives us all the setup we need for the Kaleido Heart by only using monsters in the graveyard, which is really, really nice. Okay, Halfness.
Oh, it doesn't want to activate Rhino Heart, just activates the Halfness from the graveyard. And of course we're sending back... Oh, we even keep the Rhino Heart on the field here. Keep in mind later on that might be banished. Dual Drive is being put back into the extra deck. And now, I mean, trap decks are supposed to be slow, but this setup is massive on the side of Oliver. This alone is almost game. I think this is about 7,000 damage on the field.
Call that slow.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, to be fair, his start here in Game 3 was so much better than in Game 1. In Game 1, he started by setting free cards, and still it was enough. But this time around, he got to start his plays already on the opening turn, and then he could back it up with even the Mischief of the Gnomes already in the graveyard. Rise to full height on the Kaleido Heart, so no attacks coming through here from Jack Rory Steenkammer, if he does not want to attack into the Kaleido Heart, of course.
He is not giving him anything. A card set for Jack Rory. We saw that it was Book of Eclipse, a card that has not fulfilled its purpose in game 1 as well, where it just gave 2 draws. Backjack is being activated. Now, what's the last card here? Oh, it is the Black Goat Laughs, adding insult to injury here.
I mean, to be fair, Jack Rory does not have any trap cards in the graveyard at the moment. So on the field, the Black Goat Laughs does not lob that much right now. But Oliver, what's the sad card here? Oh, he's reading his Tearlaments Crime. Okay, so that Book of Eclipse is not going to stop him, I'm pretty sure. What a setup for
rollback
him.
is in the graveyard with Needleback Nest also.
But for Crime, do you need a monster in hand to discard?
Yes,
Yes.
you do.
Because he only has Sully and an unknown card.
Wait. Oh, wait, no. That Black Gold Laughs is able to activate its effect because I was mistaking it for Transaction Rollback. Transaction Rollback needs for the on-field effect a trap card in the opponent's graveyard. But we can just use the effect of that Black Gold Laughs, call the card name, and
it's happening. Are we going to see Animal Okaris, or is it going to be totally awesome?
Which
Probably
one is it
totally
going
awesome.
to be?
Oh, it couldn't be Animal Okaris. It's
totally awesome again.
With Paleos summoned.
Indeed, we saw it on the Bahamut Shark wave, but now we also see it on the classic Paleo wave. Vivid Tail is being sent to the graveyard. There's the last card too. Things are looking so good right now for Oliver. What next though? Attack position, Kaleido. That's scary. We're in the battle phase, I'm pretty sure. Jack Rory confirms, and we are going to have some attack points, threatening the life points of Jack Rory here.
Oh wow, there is so much set up for Oliver. I mean, we're not seeing any frogs in the main deck, so I think then the standby phase Totally Awesome is not going to special summon something out, but...
Oh, who knows?
Yeah, true, honestly.
At this point, okay, we're attacking
a Duke
next.
Frog wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. And that's a lot of damage now against the life points of Jack Rory. And I think we might even be getting Jack Rory below 4,000, which would make our transaction rollback in the graveyard. Oh, it's 4,900, so transaction rollback still not absolutely amazing. We could just use it here to possibly getting enough. Oh, it's on for... Okay, we are below 4,000. We could go risky here, just use transaction rollback, try to get another fusion summon, and possibly just go for a game here in the battle phase, to be honest. Like, if we just hit another fusion name, go possibly into Dragostapelia, hit something else.
Whiskers to summon itself.
Yeah, I could see it.
Garura would be cool as well for 3,000 damage.
So,
To be honest, I think the best play here is to play slow.
Yeah. And I think
He's
that's what he does
already
better as well. Oliver is just sitting there with 4 sets. Tearlaments Scream on the field. Totally awesome. Tearlaments Kaleido Heart. 2 more Tearlaments name that are not looking as threatening, but they have attack points. They have dealt the damage, and Jack Rory needs to find a way out of this quickly. He has the Book of Eclipse set. Is going to start off the turn with that. His cards are level 4 monsters now in hand, so that is a way to play the game. Toad is forced out immediately. This might have been in main phase, so Talons is a card that might be live soon. He has an empty field. Lightning Storm would cause some heavy damage here.
Yeah, but he has Crime now.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
We also just got another monster back into the hand through that Totally Awesome, meaning we even have something to send for the crime. But it is Jack Rory now summoning out the Ryziel Sword. And Oliver, what's that now? Maybe a Salik. We added back Salik, so we may as well use it here. There we go.
Actually, I'm not too sure if you need to activate Salik here. Just grabbing Morellas is enough. Oh, we're sending Kaleido Heart immediately. Kaleido Heart is going to also send something. We're going to see another fusion summon. I don't think we need to cut off Jack Rory from more names. If it works, of course, it's the fastest way to end the game, but there are 3 more cards in hand that you probably don't know. Oh, Grief is being sent.
Tearlaments Grief, indeed.
Wait, doesn't that just add back the Meta Noise that was banished? That is...
Let's see.
That is a heads-up play.
Yep, we do that indeed. Oliver knows all the things, knows all about. I'm very interested whether Oliver already was playing Tearlaments like a couple of years back, whether it was like the best deck, or whether he just picked it up after its hype basic, now showing us that it's still so viable.
I want to play this now.
Yeah, it's
This
such a
is
fun
so
deck,
much fun,
honestly.
yeah.
It is such an amazing deck.
Jack Rory, look at this. Almost every zone on the field from Oliver is filled with threats. So many monsters, so many spell and trap cards, and so much disruption for Jack Rory. I mean, the thing is, a lot of good cards are already used now from Oliver. So if there is a way for Jack Rory to get into that game, I don't doubt that he will find it. Sending Eclipse Twins to the graveyard. Now Ext is being summoned to the field. Ext will activate.
And Oliver Oh, he still has the crime. Do we go after it with crime? Oh, we still have the Lost Wind as well. We know about that card. That was setback, and Morella wants to have another word. Morella number 2 for Oliver here in game number 3.
Morella is such a good card in that deck as well. It's like Needlebug Nest, but more consistent, less explosive. So you're guaranteed to hit something, but honestly, looking at the deck that he's playing, Needlebug Nest also is guaranteed to hit something. Node is being summoned. One of the best extenders in the deck is going to provide another body if it needs to. We're going to see an overlay for here. Are we going to see Excite Knight go for a last-ditch effort? There it is. Excite Knight. Is it going to resolve? The Kaleido Heart effect has been used already. Salik might not have any more targets in the deck. And the Tearlaments crime is flipped face up from Oliver. Jack Rory is offering the handshake. Oliver wins with so many Tearlament cards.
6-0, Tearlaments Paleo, maybe the already surprise of the weekend. I'm hoping that he will be able to follow this up, but this is quite the start that no one really expected from this deck. We said it, multiple reasons why possibly not to play this deck this weekend with all the Paleo, with all the Bystials around, but he doesn't mind it.
What is a Bystial?
Just plays his own style, he just plays his own deck, and he's going really, 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 really well with it, and I love it.
So at the start of the day, if I was coming here and told you that Tears will be 6-0 at the tournament, would you expect that?
100%.
Yeah, it was my secret call as well, of course. Yeah. We
course.
talked about it earlier, but when we had breakfast, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, for breakfast, the drive here. So, look at this. In his first hand, he had Tearlaments, Rhino Heart, or in his third game hand, and Scream. And we were talking about Bystials being a problem for the deck, etc. He just set up trap cards. He used the Tearlaments engine, not to try and fusion summon and get disrupted by possible Magnamuts or Druisworms or Baldrakes. Sure. He said, hey, I'm going to set up more trap cards. I'll have Transaction, Rollback, Rise to Full Height, everything in the graveyard. I'm going to set more traps. If you have the Bystials, you will be uncomfortable using them later on, or I might have enough setup to beat those. So it is not looking fragile to the Bystials. It looks like it rather doesn't necessarily even care.
Yeah, and I mean, we said that Lightning Storm and Feather Duster would have been pretty good, but to be fair, those trap cards that you would be destroying there, they do have effects in the graveyard. So even those cards, sure, they do hurt, especially when they hit like Daruma Karma Cannon and stuff like that. But guess what? They might just still have their way into Transaction Rollback, just still using them from the graveyard. So it's not even the end of the world with those.
Rollback and Karma Cannon is insane. If you have the rollback in the graveyard, then there are so many cards that will also get you there, because you have Needlebug Nest, you have Morella. If you have used Dynamiscus to discard a Transaction Rollback, or you have milled it before, you can use Morella to send the Daruma Karma Cannon and activate trap cards from the graveyard.
And I mean, we gotta say, Mischief of the Gnomes really wasn't super popular lately anymore because the Pure Riser deck kind of went out of favor, but now Pure Riser really is back.
Morella target as well.
Yeah, it is, for sure.
Didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and so therefore, I think the inclusion of this card is absolutely amazing, and I think it is just a really good meta call all of a sudden again. Like, disregarding a couple of things, I don't really know how good the Malice matchup is necessarily for this deck. I could see it being a little tough.
Busty. You're a hater.
But I do have to say, against Riser, it seems all right.
I mean, his strategy to just play very slow turn 1 and then pass and just starting playing on his opponent's turn is it was very explosive. And as we saw, after some trap cards were activated, like Needlebug Nest, the deck really popped off and starting making huge plays.
Yeah, and one thing that I have to say is, I think it's a little similar of an approach to what Din Kabui did, because this deck just plays around a lot of the ordinary hand interactions, I would say. It plays around Veiler quite well, it plays around Impermanence quite decently well too. I don't think it cares about Nibiru at all. The Bystials are a little bit more problematic, I guess, sure, but there's a lot of things that I think also the Mulcharmies. I don't think you really care about the Mulcharmies, to be honest.
Does it? I think like in 33.3% of the games, it plays heavily into Impermanence and Effect Veiler, because these cards are decent one-for-one trades, and you're hoping to diminish the field or stop the entire turn. And if you're playing a deck that is going to set up some traps and just start with one Rhino, if you have one progressive play on your first turn, you would hate to get that Veilered and Impermanence.
Yes, but to be honest, as we saw, you can just pass on your turn on your opponent with just a Reino, for example, and Scream or Salik behind. Just have follow-up plays on the next turn.
So I gotta agree. I think there is definitely some applications for Valor into Permanence. I don't want to say that there is none, but I do definitely think that it's a deck that is able to handle those cards much better than other decks, for example. Like an Effect Valor on the Dormouse and nothing to follow it up is way tougher, I think, on the Malice player than an Effect Valor on the Rhino, but it's still able to set 3 cards afterwards, right?
You know what's not tough on the Malice player? Dynamiscus on Dormouse.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. I agree.
Actually, what does the deck have for that? Do you side in Canadia? Because Canadia is insane against the deck.
I don't think you do, but I mean, just Daruma Karma Cannon, the usual.
Yeah, Dharma Cannon.
But you have to have
very
it
good
then,
against
right?
Malice.
You have to have it then. So, like the other cards, Lost Wind is not the yellow from the egg, as we Germans say. There are trap cards that play around with the Malice trap cards. You can chain Paleos to the Malice trap cards. That's okay. And yeah, but I think apart from Daruma
also has some application on the Malice matchup, like the field spell, of course, and maybe a link to like the Lizard and or even the Cyber's one that reborns from the graveyard. Splash Mage, yes. So it can definitely see some targets.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And I mean, also another factor is the Metatronus. Like, it doesn't really offer any Metatronus interaction, and we have seen multiple people now on Feature Bench being on that card. I think overall in the event, the card is very popular as a main deck decision even, but at the very least for a lot of people in their side decks, and therefore having little to no overlap into this card is pretty good, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this earlier. If this card is sitting around in hand doing nothing, then the card is sitting around in hand doing nothing.
Yeah.
And you need every single card to top and win at a Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series, especially here in Birmingham. But we have discussed this deck enough. Let's go over to Alberto and Oliver.
Thank you so much, Leo. I'm here with Oliver, our winner for round 6. Thank you and congratulations, first of all. I think it was quite of a demonstration of how the deck is powerful, and I mean, I think you've played the deck for a while, I would say, right?
Yeah, I've played this for over a year now. So at the Nationals last year, I was playing it then, and I've been playing it since then, so for about a year straight now.
I mean, you piloted it incredibly well, I have to say. So let's jump into the first highlight I want to show you. Because I think, I mean, you won the die roll, and
I did.
So this is your start, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, kind of a slow start, I would say.
Yeah.
But we also saw the Ash being activated of the Ovnis, and I think this is the game changer of basically the game, right? And so how you feel about this?
Yeah, so maybe I had the Havness in my hand, so I wanted to bait the Ass Blossom out because... sorry. So I had the Ass Blossom in my hand. I wanted to bait the Ass Blossom out in case I was one, because obviously Mill 5 is better than the Mill 3. And then the Mills really helped, so I had, because the Halfness was still in hand after the Ass Blossom, I could then do the Reinhardt, send the Halfness, the Mendoys came back the Tearcast milled 2 cards, I got the Lost Wind as well, so
and
it's
also,
spiral from there.
exactly. And also for the next highlight I want to show you, it's, I mean, basically this result, as we can see.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah, exactly. And also, I think you're happy with the Mills, right?
Yeah, I'm very happy with the Mills, yeah. The point of the deck is like very little synergies that just kind of get you advantage every time you mill.
But also, I think this is very important, especially because I think the backjack here gave you
the backjack gave me a Daruma Cannon. I saw the Daruma Cannon. Very happy about that.
Yeah, exactly, especially because we will soon see what happens next. Because I think the Kaleido Heart here is very important, just to give you a big body on the field.
I was so mainly I was thinking about he might make Dweller immediately if he like kind of knows what I'm doing. So I was like, I just want to keep the 2 level 4s off field. Don't want a Dweller to immediately get summoned.
No, but I think it made a lot of sense because as you mentioned, I think it's just important to say, okay, let's just see how he wants to play this around, especially because I think he was not expecting to play against, German exactly. And for the next ally right away, I want to show you what's up next because basically, I think the Daruma Cannon, as you mentioned.
I mean, this Daruma Cannon's a crazy card, like in any format, and I was very happy to see it off the backjack.
Because I think also I really like the way the deck is structured because basically you started things off with 3 back row.
Yes.
And then it kind of evolved.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So even though it was only 3 back row, it turned into like way more cards. I got way more cards in my hand. I got more interruptions from like milling random Tearlaments.
Exactly.
Very nice,
and I think this is maybe the point where Jack realized that he didn't have enough.
Yes, I think so.
Because like with all their interruption being activated from your side, I think that the Daruma Cannon itself gave you a huge advantage.
Yep.
And then in the end, faced with the
I drew 2 cards as well, so I was up to like 4 cards in hand. I had like full control at this point.
Exactly.
I don't think I could have lost at this point.
And for the last highlight of game 1, indeed, I just want to let you see this because I think it was important. I mean, like at this point, you just seal the game here, right?
Yeah, I made sure to play around the Biru just in case he did have it, so I went for the Bahamut, the Toad line.
Yeah, and I think, here there was nothing else, honestly, that Jack could have done. Because, at this point, I think it's quite clear that you may have enough attack damage, right? And entering into game 2, how do you feel after game 1?
Yeah, I felt pretty well. So I won without, sometimes with this deck, the main issue is sometimes you will go to time because you take a bit long. But that only took about 10 minutes, so I was very happy going into game 2. Obviously, YCS was the main deck to beat, so I have cards in my side deck to try and help the matchup.
Yeah, and I just want to show you, because on game 2, of course, we saw that you lost, but I think...
game 2, I did make a major mistake. I'll see if you show it.
Let's go to highlight number 1, so at least we can talk about it. Quite of a good start.
Yeah.
So it's, Detonator plus Dweller plus Cross.
Yeah. So. To be fair, Detonator really doesn't do a lot against my deck by itself because it pops all the Tearlaments, Payloads are unaffected by monster effects, all the traps are chainables, so it doesn't do that much, but obviously the Dweller is the big impact here.
Yeah, no, exactly, especially because I think that, with this specific combination of field for Ryzel, I think it's quite difficult to navigate through them, right? And... I think you took your chances, right? Because at the end, you had the Mudora, I think.
Yeah, I normal Medora.
Yeah.
I was debating between normally Medora and Rhinoheart just to get an extra tier name for next turn, so I'd have a fusion target.
Yeah.
But I decided for the Medora to try and play around the Twins. I did misplay there. I shouldn't have used the Typhon effect because he cross detached, summon back the Dweller, and then just lost from that.
And then for highlight number 2 of this game 2, here I think there was the talent which. Honestly, kind of, forced you here to activate.
Yes, I didn't want to rip a card from my hand, so that's what's taking the take out.
I think it made a lot of sense, especially because, as you mentioned, I think you were not sitting in a good position.
No, I wasn't. No. I'm still on the Dweller at this point, so I'm in a really bad spot.
Exactly. So I think you just say, let's just play my cards, and then hopefully, it may help me out a bit. I feel like here for the next highlight, it just, Jack here is able basically to seal out the game. Right?
I used the Soliac and just kind of prayed he didn't have any other level 4s. I knew if he had any other thing, I was probably dead. So.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think you just go for it and hopefully,
exactly.
it's just...
That's why I went for it. Didn't work out. Just how it is.
And for game 3, you felt confident?
Yeah, well, going first against YCS, I think I'm very, very favoured. So I felt very confident. As you'll see, I'm sure in the highlight, that I have a very special card for YCS, which really worked out well.
We will see that one in a minute, especially because, I think for the way you started things off in Game 3, I think it was quite of a good start.
I think so,
right?
My hand was very strong, Any times you open Scream, it's very strong, because Scream plays through hand traps really well.
Yeah.
Because it's on both players' turns, you can just keep milling 3.
Exactly.
So even if they're ass-bossing me, you're just constantly getting the advantage from it.
And we can see it in the first highlight of game. Exactly. Scream plus Rhinoheart.
Yeah, it's very nice.
This is...
I make sure to do it this way around, because some people do play Ghost Ogre, so I don't want the Scream getting Ghost Ogre. I don't really care about the Rhinoheart sending a Tearlaments, because I'm probably not... I don't really want to fuse on my first turn.
Yeah.
I want to be fusing on their turn.
Sure. No, but I think, at the end of the day, I think you're more than happy, especially because of the Mischief here,
exactly.
right?
I milled the Missive on the Gnomes. I'm very happy about that.
This is huge. Are you happy with the choice? How is this going for the tournament?
So I was actually debating between Mischief and Dimensional Barrier, but I kept having games where I'd mill the Dimensional Barrier and then not be able to use it because I'd never roll back. So I was like, well, Missive of the Gnomes is kind of the same thing, except I mill so many cards, I'm going to see the Missive of the Gnomes.
Yeah.
It also has a really cool synergy with Paleozoic Morella, because you can Morella send a trap from decks, you just send the Missive of the Gnomes immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
If you need to.
Yeah, and for the next highlight I want to show you is, basically this is what happens at the Mischief. You activate the Shifty right away, which I think makes sense, and then here Jack goes for the talent. So what are your thoughts here?
So here are the talents. My back row is, I think it's Crime and there's a Needlebug Nest. So as soon as he takes the level 4, the only thing I'm scared of now is probably an Exciton, well, not Exciton here, but probably a Detonator, because it kind of just starts chipping away my cards.
Yeah.
But I have the Tear Cash in hand. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I have the Tear Cash in hand. So on res, I summon Tear Cash because I have Crime face down.
Yeah.
So worst case, if I need to, I can go Crime on the Duo Drive.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense because on the highlight number 3, here we can see that basically here comes the Duo Drive.
Yeah, this was after a Needlebug Nest.
Yeah,
I build really good off the Needlebug Nest.
Yeah, and I think also the Needlebug Nest helped you out quite a bit.
It did, because it means I get to keep the Crime live because I was scared of some kind of... I'm not really sure why. I was basically just, I wanted to make sure I had the insulation in case he did have anything.
Yeah, and the Kaleido here, I think he's huge once again. I think this is the game changer.
The Kaleido's been the Duo Drive, kind of cuts him out of options at this point.
Yeah, and also for highlight number 4, I want to show you is basically where the game was also almost sealed. We can see at this field, unbelievable, I would say.
I have 5 back row. There's an Omni negate face down at all times, so I know I really don't think I can lose this game, really.
No, I mean, like, I think it's quite unlikely, like...
I also still have the rollback in graveyard as well. I was kind of scared of time, so I didn't really want to use it like immediately, but worst case scenario, I could have gone for the rollback on the Daruma cannon that was in there.
Yeah, especially because, like, Jack is basically sitting on 4 cards.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I have 4 cards, I have 4 back row, I have Scream, I have Collider, I have rollback.
You have it all, and
exactly.
indeed for the last highlight, and basically that's it for the game. It's just, the exit on that tries to
I was holding this
itself.
since the start of the game, and I was like, yeah, that's quite nice.
Exactly, so that's the one that seals the game. So
even if Exit don't resolve there, the Peleos are unaffected, the tiers are going to float, so I don't think it would have mattered that much, but,
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, just in case it was there.
Yeah, exactly,
So, I mean, congratulations once again.
Thank you.
So 6-0 record, impressive.
Yeah, 6-0,
so keep it up. Hopefully we see you again on the stream.
Yeah, hopefully.
And guys, thank you so much for watching, but don't go anywhere because we're going to jump